Hello and welcome to 5 Minutes in the Shed. After a year, something like that. So, apologies first, life got in the way, work, kids, things, stuff got in the way. You know when you see people who go, oh, I've been restoring this bike, it's taken me 15 years. This is why, right? I found that out. So, episode number 45, I think, of Project TriBSA. Now, I did have a look earlier. The last time I did a Project TriBSA video was when I'd just done the shakedown to check it was all running. And I fixed a few little bits on it. All went well. Can you believe I've been riding this round for 2 years? 2 years. Now, in that 2 years, what has happened? Right, okay. Number one, nuts and bolts that weren't stainless have got a bit of rust on them. Especially after last weekend, I went out camping, rained on it overnight, a little bit of rust. So I've spotted all the nuts and bolts that I need to change for stainless. Should have done that in the first place anyway, but I will do that. Next thing, the coil bracket on the coil snapped with the vibration. Right, so that's obviously not robust enough. Needed to fix that. The other thing as well, I rode it. This is nearly August 2022, right? And a couple of weeks ago, we had like the hottest weather on record. It was like 42 degrees or something. Went for a ride on it, and it broke down. First time it's ever let me down, right? And the reason it let me down was because the coil overheated. Now, there's a reason for that, right? Which I did not know. Now, well, dog's barking. Oh, by the way, my dog's a lot bigger now as well. What I didn't realise is that a distributor bike with one of these dizzy caps has a much bigger coil, and the reason is the dizzy goes from a single coil and fires both cylinders. So on a dizzy, it's working twice as hard as it would be with a normal bike where you've got a coil for each cylinder. And I've only put a standard size coil on the sort you get on a 2-cylinder bike. I think my dog's barking because I'm talking. Luna! Luna! She doesn't want to say hello. So, I need a bigger coil. Or do I? Right? Because it annoyed me that it broke down. And I thought this is a great time to upgrade. Alright? So I'm going to get rid of the distributor and I'm going to go fully digital. Lose that coil, get a twin output, nice little coil. So today's episode is not about the oil leaks that have developed over 2 years, which they have. It's not about the bolts which have corroded after 2 years, which they have. This one is about reliability on the engine. It's the first time it's ever broken down. Didn't like it. So yeah, we're going to go digital. So I bought a digital ignition kit. Here it is, a Boyer Bransden electronic ignition system, specifically designed for distributor bikes. I looked at all the different options. This seemed to be the best way to go. I gave the people at Boyer a call. They were super helpful, really took me through it. They're really good there. I know people have opinions over which is the best ignition system, whether it's Payson or Boyer and things like that, but I've got Boyer on most of my bikes actually, and I find it to be really good. So, Boyer ignition system, and we're going to put it on the bike. So, first thing we need to do, get the bike up on the stand so I can work on it. Let's get that done. Right then, bike's in the air. Now, bit of a palaver really with the old stand. It's been a while since I used that. I couldn't remember how to secure it. Anyway, bike's up in the air. So, what are we going to lose? We are going to lose that distributor cap, those HT wires that go all the way up to the tank, and they go all the way to the coil. So I think the coil will just disappear completely. Now, where am I going to put all the gubbins? I'm going to put them under the side panel, maybe in the other side actually, under there, because I've built like a panel under there where the power box goes, if anyone remembers that. So I should be able to put everything kind of under there. If you're wondering what this is on the side of the bike, that is a heat shield, because when I had the panniers on the bike last weekend, they were resting on the exhaust pipe, so I didn't want to melt them. So that there is a stainless steel bracket which secures Tesla solar panels to a roof. The fixings are made out of a bit of all thread, and this grill here, I'll let people put stuff in the comment section of where they think it came from. It's a salvaged part from something else that I used on here, but I thought it made quite a nice heat shield. Anyway, so yeah, there's the bike. There's the oil leaks I was talking about. As you can see, the rocker covers leak oil. That needs a little bit of work. Apart from that, the old bike's been great actually. 2 years of, oh, I've just caught my microphone cable on something. 2 years of running. I don't think I've washed it actually, and yeah, it's looking really good, really good. I have strapped the handlebar to the top of the lift, because I'll be honest, I couldn't remember how to lock the stand in. And as you can see, the stand's locked in, but I don't know, didn't strike me as being very safe. I can't remember how I did it before, but anyway, it's strapped now, so that's not going to go anywhere. You can also see in the back the Project 2 smoke. Unfortunately, exactly where the last video ended, that's exactly where the bike is. The engine still all over the bench in exactly the same position as I left it in the last video. I'm not cheating, I'm not doing anything without you guys seeing. I have been a bit distracted though, and I have been a bit distracted by this. Oh yes, I bought a lathe. Actually, I bought more than a lathe. I bought a bandsaw, which is down there in the corner. I bought a lathe, which is there, as you can see, is exceptionally fantastic. I also bought a 10-ton hydraulic press too. So yeah, all sorts of stuff. This is all going to be featured in forthcoming videos, I'm sure, when I get a minute. But anyway, on with the electronic ignition. I'm going to go and, well, we need to get access first, so I'm going to take the petrol tank off, seat off, side panels off, and then we can see where we can put all the components. Right, now I've noticed on internet, on YouTube, they have these things called unboxing videos, where people buy a new iPhone and they take it out of the box and stroke it a bit and say, look at me, I've got a new iPhone, right? I haven't got an iPhone, but I've got a Boyer ignition system, so I thought I'd do an unboxing section. Right, so this is the box and I'm going to un it. Right, let's see what we've got. So in the box we have the destructions. Let's have a look at these. Okay, put the old glasses on. Ooh, there's a lot of 25 steps to do this. All right, and we're going to have a magic box, stator plate, rotor, some screws, plastic strap, coil positive earthing wire, terminals, dual output coil, nuts, bolts, and zip ties. Wow, that's what we're going to have. And then there's some pictures here. There's a circuit diagram here. There's a picture of the plate. and some modifications you need to do to the metal part of the rotor and the cover. I think we need to make a new cover. Anyway, their instructions. I'm an electronics engineer, so we won't need those, will we? Nah, right. Okay. Right, what we've got in here then, we've got HT lead. Cool. We've got a bag full of what are those? Oh, they're for the coils, look, that go onto this super duper magic coil here, which I can't get out. I'm assuming they go on there like that. Lovely, jubbly. Micro power coil for use with a blue box only. Color coded, we like that. Okay, so that's the coil, which is half the size of the single one I had on before, which was nowhere near big enough. So that's interesting. So that's the coil, and bits that go with it. They're the connectors there. Look like they need crimping on. Okay. We've also got two plug caps here. I'm going to need a knife. So we've got plug caps. Let's see what colour they are, because I like black ones. Bet they sent the red ones. Let's have a look. Rubbers, nice. Black NGK ones, nice. That's what's on it already. Nice. Like those. Okay, so we've got two of those. That's easy, that's like the last bit that goes on. So, coil, HP lead, caps. Great. Now what goes to the coil? Now we've got in here the plate by the look of it. We've got the blue box, because it's blue. We've got here, that's a magnet rotor. I think it's a magnet. It is a magnet, as you can see. It's magnetic. Cool, that's the bit that goes round and round. Then we've got the blue box here. Look at this. This is where the magic happens. This is the electronic ignition box itself. So we've got stator plate, ignition coil, and a negative. Seems pretty simple. Black and white, black and yellow to the stator. So that goes to what was the distributor. Then we've got red and white to power, and then got the black one which goes to the ignition coil there. Then we've got the plate there which goes on the points, which spins around.
Busyness
cool.
In here. Are you lathing?
Now, because I'm a master at video editing, you won't have noticed that there'll be a slight cut, and that's because I keep this lady in the attic of my shed, and she escaped and came to see if I was doing a bit of lathing, but I wasn't. Anyway, invisible cut in the video. There's nothing to see here apart from my brew. All the bits there, and there's another bag here, and with some more wires and some terminals here, very nice, and little screws and a little sticker that tells you that it's got electronic ignition. Boyer Bransden. I'm not sponsored by them. If they want to sponsor me, feel free. What else we got in here? A couple more bags of screws there. Look like little M6 ones there with little spring washers. Very nice. So what I need is real estate on the bike. Alright, now This bit goes in the distributor, no problem. This bit goes in the distributor, no problem. Bolts, talk about those later. Wires, talk about those later. We need to find a home, not for the plug caps because they go on the plugs, so very easy. We need to find a home for the coil here. It looks like it's got to hang off something like that. Right, so we need a home for the coil, and we need a home for this box here. And I don't see any sort of bracketry or flanges for where that may go. Now in the past I've kind of wrapped it in a bit of sponge and tucked it in a toolbox or something like that, so we need to figure out that one. So real estate then. Box out of the way. Real estate for that, real estate for that. What have we got? Let's have a look at the bike. Right then, I'll come this way so I don't fall over my microphone wire. Real estate wise, without the panel on, that's the light switch there, if you remember. I don't know if you remember from 2 years ago. That's a light switch there. This is the plug here for the ignition switch. That's my main fuse there. This is the power box, which is regulator rectifier but with some capacitance in it, so I can start it without a battery if I want to. Now I put that kind of centrally, so obviously I didn't think ahead, did I? Now I've got this box here to install somewhere, and kind of I think I can put it probably down, sort of down there, and there's a grommet there where I can go through the hole with the wires. Maybe mount it that way perhaps, and the wires will go straight through. So that looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see it on the video, there's a nut there. All that's doing is bolting the condenser on that you need for the points. That's going to go, right? So that's a nice bit of smooth metal there. So it looks like I've got to make a bit of a bracket to hold that in place. The wires will then go through to the other side, where back of the battery box. It's a bit messy of wires in there, but it looks alright. So I think we've got real estate for that. That looks pretty good, alright. But the coil's the question. So obviously the HT is waterproof, but we've got spade terminals on the other end. Now on the existing coil here, spade terminals go at the back, but the HT also comes out the back as well. And so at the front it's just like an aluminium coil poking out the end. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. Let me just chop that one off and we'll have a look at it. All right. So I need my snips, which I've lost. Go down there. No, I have lost them. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, the bracket broke on the coil, so it's on the zip ties at the minute, because zip ties, as we know, fix everything in the whole world. So let's get rid of those zip ties there. Pull that coil out. Don't need those connections anymore, that's good. So this is the old coil here. Right, actually this isn't the old coil, this is a spare coil I had to put on to get it going. So I need to give that back to my dad. So this one has low tension and high tension at the back, which was tucked under, and so the weather hit the front of it and lower down. But it is under the tank, it is in the airflow. Now this one is going to mount completely differently, and we've got HT on one side and low tension on the other side, so I'm not really sure where to put that. Gonna have to have a real think about where that goes. I mean, I guess we could always relocate the horn, but it's still kind of in the weather, and it's not the prettiest coil in the world, is it? Right? So I don't know. I think under there, I think would be nice, but I don't seem to have any sort of bracketry for that. Maybe maybe inside here I'll be able to fashion some sort of bracket to hold it, and then this will be behind this plate, and then the HT leads I can just run up the spine and then run in that way. I think that'd probably be the nicest way of doing it, but I'm going to need a bracket of some description. Now there is a tab under here which is broken off, which I don't know what that used to do, but it used to do something and it doesn't anymore. Anyway, there is space in there, but I will need to fashion a bracket. You can't see from there, but when I take this off you'll be able to see. So first thing, I need to make a bracket for the power box to go on there, and the second thing, I need to make a bracket for the coil. So yeah, time to have a think about how we're going to do that. I think bracket for this one first is probably going to be the easiest to start with. Right. So we've got a rough CAD template now for that, and they fold up and make the brackets there. It's a very tight fit though, and aluminium's got a thickness, so I need to allow for radiuses and stuff like that, so it's slightly oversized, but that's my cardboard template made out of paper. So it's pad engineering, not CAD engineering, but you know, same principles. Right, so that's my template. This is a piece of aluminium that is used, actually it's used with those stainless steel brackets to go underneath a solar panel bracket. Anyway, if you needed to know that. So we need to cut that out. Right, let's offer that up there. It's going to be roughly about there. And we're going to need a scribe, which is here. So I need to go around this, make it oversized, then get my tin snips, cut it out because it's only thin gauge. That's the next bit. Okay, so that's up bloody ages, and I've ended up with loads of little bits of wood and stuff going on, and punches and wooden things. Anyway, what I've made is a nice little box for my electronic ignition. So there it is, sits in there. It's not exactly perfect, needs a little bit of refining. It's slightly oversized. This is set inside there, which is good because I'm going to line it with rubber or some sort of foam to stop any vibration and things like that. So yeah, very nice. What I'm going to do with that as well is I'm going to round off these kind of profiles here, because I don't like the sharp, nasty, gnarly corners. And we'll call that a bracket. More of a housing, I'd call it, rather than a bracket. I don't know. Anyway, so that's how it goes. Lovely, jubbly. In there, clears the wires very nicely, so we're not going to get any chafage. And that's going to sit underneath the power box, and the wires are going to run through the grommet like that. Lovely. Right. So a little bit of trimming on the corners, a bit of dressing with a file, and we'll call that an achievement. Right then, so what's next? It's a chain of fashion stores, but that doesn't matter right now. Let's get this finished, and I'll drill some mounting holes on the bike, and we'll get it mounted. Don't know if I've got enough nuts and bolts in stock, so I'll have to check on that. But yeah, next stage is to mount this on the bike. Okay. Right, so what we've got then, I had to take my kind of real estate box out of the way to get in there, which is a pain because that bolt is a nightmare to get to. You have to take the chain guard off and everything. I managed to get around it. Anyway, so what we've got now is my little Boyer box. It's going to sit like that, which should be sweet. So let's put that there for a minute. Lean in front of the camera, super professional. That's going to come out like that. Got some rubber here. That's going to stop it any vibration or anything like that. That goes inside there like that, and that comes around here, and then all of these wires are going to go through that grommet hole there, through to the back. Now I haven't got enough nuts and bolts, so I'm going to have to go and buy nuts and bolts to do it, but that's what it's going to look like. So halfway there we've got electronic ignition on the side panel like that. That's going to sit in there, and then everything else is going to be the other side. Now I did mention the coil earlier. If I just move this flat like that so you can see in, I haven't disconnected it all because I thought it'd be easier just to do it on the bike. If you look under here, I've got one sort of bracket bolt here, and I think the coil will be able to bolt to that. What I might have to do is make a little bracket to hold it either side like that, and I think that's how my coil's going to go, in the middle, sort of between the battery and this panel here. Plenty of room, so that should go in quite nicely, I think. But I do need to make a little bracket because this has got two hangers on it, and if I put it on one it's going to loosen and it's going to swing all over the place. Won't be any good. So I'm going to make a little bracket that goes like that. So that's the next job. Whoop, that's the next job. So electronic ignitions mounted, loose, ready to go. Coil next. I mean, I haven't even started. This is supposed to be a video on electronic ignition on an engine. I haven't even gone anywhere near the distributor yet. This is taking ages. So I think I'm going to call it a day for now because I need bolts and stuff like that. Next episode we're going to make a bracket for this, mount this, probably put all this back together, wire it all up. Then we're going to do the distributor and modify that. So part one of digitizing the old TriBSA. Thanks for watching. I know it's been a long time. I'm sure you haven't missed me and you've all got lives, but you know, if you've got any questions, comments, please comment about what that's off, because I'd love to know if anyone knows. I know someone will know. Rod will know, I guarantee it. Anyway, thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers. Bye.